It was a rainy night in New York City, the kind that makes the streetlights blur into gold ribbons across the wet roads. Ethan Cole tightened his grip on the steering wheel of his old black sedan, his eyes flicking to the worn photo taped near the dashboard. His 6-year-old daughter, Lily, smiling with a missing front tooth. She was the reason he woke up every day, the reason he worked double shifts as a private driver, for the rich people who never even looked at him. The kind of people who had chauffeurs, penthouses, and everything money could buy, everything except peace. Ethan didn't have much, but he had his daughter's laughter, and that was enough. Or so he thought. Until that night. The GPS blinked with a new ride request from an unknown client. Urgent pickup. Manhattan's Upper District. 11:47 p.m., triple pay. Ethan hesitated only a second before accepting. Rent was due in 3 days, and Lily's school fees were still unpaid. He sighed and turned the car toward the glittering skyline, unaware that this single ride would rewrite the rest of his life. At the gate of a grand hotel, a young woman in a silver gown stumbled into the rain. Her makeup was smudged, her heels broken, and fear shone in her eyes like shattered glass. "Miss, your car's here," the doorman called. She didn't reply. She just looked back once, toward the hotel doors, where 2 men in black suits were rushing out, shouting her name. Ethan rolled down his window, confused. "Are you the driver?" she asked breathlessly, clutching her chest. "Please, drive. Just drive." Without a second thought, Ethan unlocked the door, and she slid in, soaked and trembling. He hit the accelerator, tires hissing on the slick road. "Ma'am, are you okay?" he asked, glancing at her through the mirror. She was pale, her lips blue, her hands shaking uncontrollably. "Keep driving," she whispered. "If they catch me, I'm dead." Ethan's instincts screamed that something was wrong. He didn't know who she was or what kind of danger she was running from. But fear doesn't lie. As they sped through the city, he caught glimpses of black SUVs behind them, headlights slicing through the rain. "Hold on," he muttered, taking a sharp turn through a side alley. The woman groaned softly, pressing her hand against her throat. And that's when Ethan saw it, her skin swelling, breath hitching. "You're allergic to something?" he asked. No answer. Her eyes were rolling back, lips turning purple. She was choking. Ethan's mind went blank. He pulled over, ran around to her side, yanked the door open on and realized she wasn't breathing. He remembered the first aid course he took years ago when Lily was born. Without a second's hesitation, he tilted her head back and began CPR. "Come on, breathe," he shouted into the storm. Rain poured over them like cold needles, the world narrowing to just her and him, a single dad and a dying stranger. He pressed down again, and when nothing worked, he did the only thing, left. He leaned forward and gave her a breath, a desperate kiss of life. Seconds stretched like hours, until she gasped, coughing violently, eyes flying open. For a heartbeat, their eyes met, hers wide with shock and fear, his filled with relief. "You saved me," she whispered. "Don't thank me yet," Ethan said, helping her sit up. "Who are those men?" She looked away, wiping tears mixed with rain. "They work for my father. He's the billionaire Henry Valen. I'm his daughter Aria." Ethan froze. Valen, the name was everywhere. Skyscrapers, tech companies, news headlines. He had just kissed the heiress of a billion-dollar empire. As they drove again, Ethan noticed her trembling. "You need a hospital," he said. "No hospital," she snapped. "If I go there, he'll find me. My father controls everything, even the doctors." Her voice cracked. "I was supposed to marry his business partner tomorrow. A man twice my age. He threatened to ruin you if you didn't obey, didn't he?" Ethan asked quietly. She nodded, tears streaming. "He doesn't care what I want. I just wanted to escape. For once, I wanted to live my own life." The city lights faded as they crossed into quieter streets. Aria leaned against the window, whispering, "Thank you. You don't even know me, and you saved my life." Ethan smiled faintly. "I didn't need to know your name to know you needed help." She looked at him. For a long moment, this man with kind eyes and tired hands, a stranger who risked everything. "You're different," she murmured. Hours later, they stopped at a small diner near the river. Aria borrowed Ethan's jacket, oversized on her delicate frame. Inside, the warmth smelled like coffee and safety. They sat in a corner booth, silent for a while. Ethan finally spoke. "So what's your plan now?" She sighed. "I don't have one. I can't go back." and I don't know where to go." Ethan thought of Lily sleeping at home, waiting for her dad to bring breakfast in the morning. He couldn't just leave this girl alone. "You can stay somewhere safe tonight," he said. "I have a small place. Nothing fancy." Her eyes widened.
You'd do that for me?
"You're not the first person who needed saving," Ethan said softly. "And I know what it's like to be scared and alone." They drove through the sleeping city until they reached Ethan's apartment in a modest, one-bedroom place above a laundromat. He opened the door quietly, motioning her inside. The smell of crayons and pancakes filled the air. "This is Lily's drawing," he said, pointing at the walls covered in colorful scribbles. Arya smiled weakly. "She must be wonderful." "She's my whole world," Ethan replied. "She lost her mom when she was 2. Something in Arya's face softened. "You raised her alone?" "Yeah, the hardest job in the world, but also the best." When Lily woke up the next morning and found Arya in the kitchen, she giggled. "Daddy, is she a princess?" Arya laughed for the first time in years. "Maybe I used to be," she said. "But today I'm just Arya." Over breakfast, laughter filled the little apartment, something Arya hadn't heard since childhood. But outside, danger still lurked. The men who chased her last night were searching the city, and the media had already begun buzzing with headlines. Billionaire Heiress missing hours before wedding. Ethan knew their peace wouldn't last long. Yet as he watched Arya and Lily play together, he felt something shift inside him, something he hadn't dared to feel in years: hope. That night, as Arya stood by the window watching the city lights, Ethan joined her. "You don't have to run forever," he said gently. "Maybe it's time to fight back." She turned to him, her eyes glistening. "And if I do, will you stand with me?" He didn't answer, he just nodded. Neither of them knew that the kiss which saved her life would soon turn into something much deeper, a connection that would test everything they believed about love, trust, and destiny. As the rain began to fall again, Ethan whispered to himself, "That night, I thought I was just saving a stranger, but maybe she was sent to save me too." The morning sun barely touched the cracked windows of Ethan's apartment. When the world outside began to stir, Arya stood quietly near the doorway, wearing one of Lily's oversized hoodies, her hair messy, her eyes still shadowed by the chaos of the night before. Ethan was cooking breakfast, eggs, toast, and coffee that smelled stronger than courage. "You didn't sleep," he said softly, not turning around. "Neither did you," she replied. There was a silence, the kind that spoke louder than words. "Those men will come again," she said. "They won't stop until they find me." Ethan nodded. "Then we make sure they don't." By noon, the story of the missing heiress was everywhere. Every news channel screamed her name, every social feed buzzed with theories. Arya Valen, kidnapped, runaway, or dead. The Valen family had offered $1 million reward for information. Ethan knew that one wrong move, one glance from the wrong person, and everything would collapse. He turned off the TV. "You should go somewhere far," he said. "Maybe another city, another country." Arya shook her head. "Running won't fix what's broken. My father will never stop. I need to face him, but I can't do it alone." Her voice trembled, but there was steel beneath the fear. "You saved my life once, Ethan. Help me save it again." Ethan looked at her, this woman born into gold yet running from it, and something in him knew he couldn't walk away. "All right," he said. "We'll find a way." That night, Ethan contacted an old friend from his driving days, a journalist named Mark. "I need dirt on Henry Valen," he whispered, over the phone. "Something that can make him back off." Mark hesitated. "That's suicide, man. Valen owns half the city." "Just find me something," Ethan said. "Please." 2 days later, the answer came. A folder, slipped under Ethan's door, filled with 4 documents, illegal transactions, offshore accounts, secret bribes, enough to destroy Valen's empire if made public. But before Ethan could even show Arya, headlights flashed outside. Black SUVs, 3 of them. They had found them. "Get Lily," Ethan whispered. Arya scooped the little girl into her arms as Ethan grabbed the folder. The sound of boots echoed up the stairs. "Go through the back," he shouted. They ran into the alley, rain pouring once again as if the sky itself was repeating the night that started it all. A man in a black coat stepped out from the shadows, Henry Valen himself. "Arya," he said coldly. "Come home now." She shook her head. "Not this time, father." You've controlled me all my life. It ends tonight." His eyes burned with fury. "You think this man can protect you?"
He's nothing.
Ethan stepped forward. "Maybe, but I'm the one who was there when your money couldn't save her." Valen's men closed in. Ethan handed the folder to Mark, who had arrived minutes before with a camera in hand. "Stream it," Ethan said. "Let the world see who he really is." Mark nodded. And with one click, the evidence went live across the internet. Within minutes, the billionaire's empire began to crumble. Reporters swarmed his offices. The police moved in, and for the first time, Henry Valen looked powerless. "You'll regret this," he hissed, but Arya only whispered, "No, father. I'll finally live." Weeks later, peace returned. Arya stood with Ethan and Lily by the river where everything had begun. The city sparkled, free of its storm. "So what now?" Ethan asked. Arya smiled. "Now I learn how to live like a real person. Maybe even learn how to love." She turned to him, eyes soft. "You didn't just save my life that night. Ethan, you gave it meaning." He smiled faintly. "Guess we saved each other." As the camera fades to black, the narrator's voice would whisper to the viewers, "Sometimes destiny brings two broken souls together, not to complete each other, but to heal what the world broke." If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because every story we tell might just remind someone that love, courage, and kindness still exist.